You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
How was your weekend? Was your weekend good? Ours was pretty good.
Ours was great.
Yeah, ours is always great. That's what we do. That's what Zod and Drea do.
We make great weekends happen.
We make great weekends happen. You know, I swear. If you guys ever have a chance to hang with us, trust me, you're going to have a good time. That's the one thing that we always do. We make sure that our guests are always taken care of and that there's love in the room.
And they're well fed.
They're always well fed, yeah. If you haven't seen me recently, after my whole 30, where I lost a whole bunch of weight, and then I started dating Drea, well, you'll see that I'm well fed.
Look, okay, I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
And I enjoy cooking for my man.
And I'm sure you do, and I love your food. I love her food. You've got to try it. Such beautiful, delicious Mexican cuisines.
And others.
And others. No, she puts it down, but, you know... It's not the other stuff that gets me fat. Gets me all chunky. She got me chunky. You know, but anyway, you know, that's us. We're having a good weekend. We hope that you are too. And, you know, you're pretty much in for a treat for this podcast. So
yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
We always have plenty to talk about, but this is always going to be a good one for us. So we're going to try and dig in and make sure everybody's well represented. And, you know, it's probably a controversial topic for some. So, you know, I guess the one thing that, if you haven't seen the debate, the first presidential debate just happened last night. So, you know, we're fresh off the heels of that, and we want to discuss that a little bit.
I mean, this is important, and we wanted to bring this up. And then we're going to talk about some relationship goals in our discussion about relationships and topics. So we'll bring that up.
Yeah, because people always want to say, you know, they got relationship goals, this and that, whatever. But we're going to see if they prove it. And our main question for this week, though, is in which ways are police lives more valuable than average citizens? So we're going to talk about that and how police lives are a lot more valuable than you or me, and why the public believes this. You know, why is someone's life worth more than yours because of a badge and a gun? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But you know, we're going to see what's up with... you know, this debate that's been going on. I mean,
good night.
I mean, it's still talking about it on CNN and MSNBC and I'm sure Fox, you know, which I do not watch or partake in, but Fox is probably talking about it. Everyone else is pretty much on the heels of it and how important it is in this upcoming election.
And they just announced that the numbers for the viewers was about 82 million viewers across the globe.
I mean, think about that. There are movies that don't get that much love. And they were sitting there trying to figure out what the United States' next president was going to be and what they were going to talk about. Because now it's talking about issues and they're going face to face for the first time. Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. And it was something. It
was the toe-to-toe show. And let's just be honest, this was entertainment. And I do blame a lot of the media for really advertising it as pretty much a heavyweight boxing match.
I mean, they did. They really put it up like, you know, it was, you know, an unstoppable force versus an unmovable object. And, you know, all it is just two people. But it's like one is a career politician, the other one is a talk show host. And, you know, they're trying to be a viable candidate and represent all of the United States 319 or 322 million, you know, people. And, like, I'm sorry, but I just don't understand after seeing that how people could believe that Donald Trump was coming out any type of a presidential winner when we need calm in this country as opposed to anybody divisive and just arrogant and just bloating and just bombastic and whatever adjectives you can use that's just explosive instead of somebody who's calm, has a cool head. Like, this is what we're leading into. You can choose who you want to choose, but if you see that debate, you can see what stirs somebody up so easily.
Correct. And look, we all know that Hillary is not this innocent, player in this. Yes, she has faults. She has many faults.
Many.
But compared to what was proven during the debate, and that was many things. One of them was how arrogant Trump was when he was asked by Hillary regarding his taxes. Why don't you show your taxes? Why don't you show to the public about what you filed in your taxes? And she brought it up and said, hey, what is it you have to hide? Maybe you are not as rich as you say you are.
That's what I think.
And maybe you just don't pay your taxes. And what was his response? Well, that makes me smart.
That makes me smart. Like not paying taxes. Everybody listening to this right now, I will bet my ass that you guys are sitting there paying taxes probably up within the 33 percentile.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a guy who says it's smart, even though, yeah, maybe possibly it is, but he's saying that as president, I am smart for doing something that the American public does not do. Like, are you not smart?
And as president, that would be paying his salary. And the federal taxes would be paying for everything that he would then govern.
Like, he's exactly what they're talking about, the 1% not paying into the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So if they just did and paid their fair share, this economy would be awesome. Like, it's that easy. It's that cut and dry. It doesn't matter if you're a businessman or not. There are a lot of business people. And I don't care if you make $1 or $1 billion. Does that mean that you should not pay any of your fair share taxes? Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, 0%?
Right. And then bringing up to the fact of all of his bankruptcies and how he did not, and with his bankruptcies, even not even paying for some of the services from some of the tradespeople that contributed to his beautiful castles and his beautiful casinos. And what was his response? Oh, well, maybe they didn't do a good enough job.
So they didn't do a good enough job, but they did a good enough job for him to live there, to present it to the people, to make money off of it, and then he just screwed them. I'm sorry, it's like Hillary has her faults. Super predators and, some of the other things that she has. She's apologized for a lot of things. He refuses to apologize. And, I mean, this is a guy who says that he has debtors. Hillary even told him he has debtors from around the world, China and the whole 9 yards, for $600 million. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, that's regular. That's nothing. Like, $600 million is nothing? Starting a business with 1 or 14 million, whichever it is nothing? Give me some of that. I'll show you what this podcast can become.
My question, I propose this to all the undecided voters. What does Hillary have to do to get you to be motivated to not vote for Trump? What does she have to do?
Vote for who you want, but he's crazy.
Because I know you're going to have your people that are going to vote for Trump. You have people vote for Hillary. But what is it going to take?
That's up to you. Anyway, you guys discuss that among yourselves. You can comment on our podcast or our pages, but whatever. We want to get off of that and talk about some of the other things that we've done. See, anybody who knows us and has been able to spend time with us, besides getting fat stomachs, like the one thing they know and they always say is relationship goals. And I find that to be a compliment between us. Mm-hmm. That they can look at us and look at how we present ourselves around each other and to other people and say, damn, look at that. That's relationship goals. Like, shit, we want that.
And it's not to be in a boisterous way. Mm-mm. It's again, this is feedback that we've received. So we started to think about the popularity of the phrase relationship goals and looked at how certain people, men and women, view relationship goals. And I found it very interesting in different surveys and in different social media measures that we found was that many women seem to post up images or statements surrounding relationship goals as the marriage, as the wedding, as the event, as the dress, as the ring. And my question is, that's just one day.
It is one day.
What about after the wedding? Is there no goals after the wedding? Is it just the goal is to be married and that's it? But what happens a day afterwards? What happens a year afterwards? What can you build together that is constantly then adding to your relationship, that makes it exciting, that makes it to where you constantly want to contribute and you want to challenge each other, but yet also see what can you two as a couple bring to the world versus just a bunch of pictures and a big dress and a photo you can show forever on your wall from just that one day. What do you think?
What I'm wondering is, you look on Facebook and you type in relationship goals and look at all the memes. What's funny about that to me is people post pictures to represent what they want in life instead of going out for it. Mm-hmm. And that's what's funny. It's like, this photo right here represents what I want. His man is holding his woman. I want that. That's relationship goals. Why the fuck do you not have that then? I'm not saying that there's not, whatever you have is temporary, who knows what it is. You just can't get it. But there's always somebody for everybody to me. And you can get that. It's what you put out to the universe. There's some people, maybe you it's not as easy for. For women, a lot of guys just, they're just pigs. Maybe it's possible that you're in a pit of pigs instead of looking outside of that pit. Mm-hmm. What is your relationship goals? I mean, everybody has financial goals. You got goals in life. You got business goals. Mm-hmm. Relationship goals should fall into the same type of need and desire. Plan it out. As
an achievement, too.
Why mm-hmm. not? Right. I mean, so it's like some of the things that we do in our relationship goals is, we're building a business together. Mm-hmm. We're not going to just sit here and just lay around and just do nothing. And we are going to build a business. Azad and Drea, she and I are going to build a business together. It goes beyond that.
We are building one.
We are building one. We're building actually a couple runs. Mm-hmm. We're doing runs together. So, there's nothing like running 13 miles with your girl at your side and crossing that finish line together. It's funny that it's almost metaphorical, right. Crossing that finish line together, mm-hmm. And that represents a lot of what relationship goals should be. So, what are you guys doing in order to, boast or even achieve your relationship goals?
And hey, if your goal is the marriage, great. But again, I ask, what happens afterwards? Just think about that. What happens after that? What happens after the baby's born? If maybe it's just a baby that you guys want together. But what happens then after that?
Yeah, God, what about the lead up to mm-hmm. the wedding? What are your relationship goals? I mean, if it's just the wedding, then you're stuck. If it's just the baby, you're stuck. Okay, goals met, now what?
Now what? Right.
It's like your ass is grass. It's like, okay, shit. I didn't know relationship goals included a divorce. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you didn't cultivate that relationship.
So we ask people around us too, and couples that ask, hey, how do you guys do this? Well, we just ask, what do you enjoy? Find that person in your life that enjoys what you do, and make it work together.
It's not impossible.
Just ask for it.
It happens all the damn time.
Please listen carefully.
Once again, make sure you listen to the Zod and Drea podcast by subscribing to one of the following podcast methods: iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube. Visit our website at www.zodanddrea.com to go directly to the links, or if you choose, you can listen to each podcast episode directly on the website under their individual posts.
Want to get involved and have your voice heard on the next podcast? Then be sure to tune in to the question of the week on our website, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram page. And dial in and leave a message on our voicemail at 323-963-4221.
If you're an advertiser who would like to have your 30-second or 1-minute placement on our podcast or YouTube episode, please contact us at info@zodanddrea.com and we'll send you a price list. Space is limited for each episode.
The next podcast might even have you as a featured guest.
Tune in, check us out, and get involved. All right, here we go. Here we go. It's time for that big main topic of the podcast. Thank you for listening. And the question that we have is, in which ways are police lives more valuable than average citizens?
Now, we know that this was very sensitive for some people, and for a lot, actually, I'm not going to say some people, for a lot of people, given what's been going on in the past few weeks. And it's something that we thought, let's bring this question up. Let's bring this question up to our fans, to just the general public, and put it out there. And what we've been finding is just this consensus of almost giving in, how can I say this? Not necessarily giving in, but it's the norm. Like, it's the norm to have the police man or woman's life be more valuable than the citizens that pay for them to protect us and protect our neighborhood. Now, I come from a family of some law enforcement and civic servants, and I thank them every day for their service. That was a choice that they made, and I know they value their lives as equally as the people that they serve, even more. I've had some family members that have said that the public is so important to them, which is why they put their life on the line. But from what we're seeing lately, which has been underneath the surface in many communities for decades, is a different story.
See, for me, it's beyond decades. We're going back to, God, we're probably going back to the 1800s before. I mean, when police, when police were put together, they were, originally put as overseers. Poor whites were put as overseers towards slaves. It transformed into a police matter. Like, that's what they were doing. They were policing the people, keeping quote unquote law and order, which is what Trump says all the time.
Oh, God.
So I understand a difficult job. What's funny is police aren't even at the top of the difficulty when it comes to jobs. So a cop is just that. You go through training, you become this guy, cool. You can or a girl. You can shoot this gun. That's cool. And you can write traffic tickets. Big fucking deal. Your life is not more valuable than mine because you are a police officer. And I will state that again. Your life is not more valuable than mine. It's not more valuable than the homeless guy on the street. Just because you put your life on the line for something, which you only do if there is danger. So it's not like you put it online, because there are a lot of citizens who do the same thing. A lot of regular people who jump in and they're just good Samaritans who put their life on the line because they see something and they want to do good. Is that heroic? Of course it is. They don't get paid to do that. They do that because they want to. Whereas, a police officer will shoot somebody because they are scared. So, okay, here's a guy. Oh my God, he's so big and black. He's so huge. He's so dark. Oh my God, he's going to probably kill me. He looks like a crazy guy. I'm going to pull out my gun because he's big and black. This happens all the time. So I'm not just putting a scenario out that's just fake and false. And it's like, oh, this guy looks dangerous. I don't know if the guy's dangerous or not, and neither do they. But the thing is, in order to de-escalate something, you can't assume also. You also just can't assume that everybody is dangerous. Be prepared, be ready, in case that is. But, police put out, to me, they put out this bad juju in the universe over a series of decades of authority. You know what I mean? They put this out. So you go on decade. The public is going to look at you as either you're a scary bastard who's scared and has a gun and is going to kill me, or number two, you're officer friendly and you're here because you're hanging out with Barney Fife and fucking Barney Miller and shit and like, you know what I mean? Like, no, this isn't. Those days are gone.
Right.
Like, these aren't these cops that do that. These cops now are dressed in military attire. They are taking over, neighborhoods because somebody out there gave them authority, and the public believes that when you see that uniform, a uniform, that all of a sudden they are above you. Their lives are worth more than yours. So you can't do anything to them because they are now your rulers, your overseers, just like the slaves. The citizens are now the slaves, and the cops are now the overrulers. I mean, it doesn't change.
No, and what's scary is how it can so totally be turned around to be more focused. The whole system of policing can be controlled, and I shouldn't say controlled, can be changed depending on the community, because these are local decisions. This isn't made on the presidential level. This is made on your municipality level, which is why it's so important as citizens to be involved in what's going on in your city, because it's your city police and your county sheriffs or policing, whatever it is, but again, it's localized. They are the one, and you can have a say during your city council meetings and your city of police, your police department meetings, which are open to the public, and most of them are, when they review their budgets, when they review what kinds of policies they're putting into place and for the employees, for the police departments. So, for instance, when the tasers were brought in, or when there is a decision to be made about where the money is spent on ammunition, on weapons, on body cams, that is brought to the public. So us as citizens need to attend those events, and we need to voice our concerns on why would you spend my tax dollar money, my local money, to better arm you, but yet you're not taking it to the schools, but yet you're not taking it to help with the local food banks, or to any of the areas, and to to help with any of the clinics or mental facilities to help the community out, versus just putting on another vest and arming yourself with a semi-automatic weapon
to kill citizens.
Right.
So whose life matters more there? It's like, it's a choice. It's just a uniform. It's just a gun and a badge. It's not a big deal. In the overall scheme of things, if you're God looking down on earth, where do the police fall in line with the janitor? It shouldn't be anything. It should be an equal line of whose lives matter more. So let's talk about the blue wall of silence. Now, the police are always spreading out to the streets that, you got to stop that no snitching policy. Stop that. You got to make sure you tell on the people and whatever, which I believe in. You want to stop crime in the neighborhood. Correct. You're going to have to start talking. It's like, I don't want to be next door to a fucking killer, or some dude who's dealing cocaine and fucking up the whole neighborhood. I don't want to be next to that dude. In the same vein, I also don't want that blue wall of silence, which is the exact same thing as a no snitch policy, because they see each other as a brother. Like, this is the brotherhood, the blue brotherhood, blah, 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 we're the League of Cops and blah, blah, all that bullshit. So they don't tell on each other. They do not snitch on each other. So they know, the quote unquote good cops know when the bad cops are acting up.
Correct.
They do. So we're talking about whose lives are mattering. The citizens aren't, because you're protecting the killers. You're protecting the killers, and they know that if you want to legally kill somebody, if I kill you, babe, which I wouldn't do, but if I killed you,
thank goodness,
I'm going to prison, and they're not going to, there is going to be no due process. They're going to throw my ass in jail fast as fuck.
And probably no bail.
No bail. None of that. When a cop kills somebody, that woman, whatever her name was, Betty, who had killed the brother in, it wasn't in Tulsa. I think, was he Crutcher? I can't remember. I'm sorry. But when they killed him, I think it was Terrence Crutcher. Terrence might be the other one in North Carolina. See, this is how bad it is. So many brothers are dying. But when he got killed, she was in and out. She was processed and out, bailed out. And I believe it was 11 minutes.
Yeah.
It was something like 11 or 12 minutes. You try to find a citizen who has murdered somebody or killed someone with their gun under questionable situation where they have been out faster than that.
And it's been videotaped.
You find that. So the problem is, our citizens, you and I, are not worth as much. And I blame the public for doing that. So this blue wall of silence, what happens when a cop does tell on another cop? On this truthout.org, it seems like whistleblowers, they were talking about some whistleblowers and how these two Chicago police officers were charged in a federal lawsuit against the city, who said they faced threats of violence and warnings their colleagues wouldn't back them up after it was revealed they worked undercover on a police corruption case. So that's Shannon Spalding and Daniel and Echeverria settled with the city for $2 million. Think about this. They discovered police corruption and their own people were like, fuck that. This is why there is a problem, because not only are the cops protecting them, the judges, the DA, even the prison system has deals with them. So there's this whole big unit in this system already set in place for people to fail, especially people of color and especially poor people.
Correct.
In poverty. So whose life matters? Whose life is mattering more? Because I've never seen a citizen, you or me, be able to get away with what cops can get away with. And why? Why do they? Why are they allowed to get away? Nobody has made a clear argument and told me, would you sacrifice, anybody listening who is like a cop sympathizer and saying, oh, Zod, you're just a fucking asshole. If they don't commit the crime, and black on black crime, and I don't want to hear any of that shit. I don't want to hear about Chicago. I don't want to hear any of that crap. It's not about that. It's not about people committing crimes in that vein. It's why do they get a push and not being able to allow? They are allowed to police themselves, and they don't get in trouble for it. And I'm not just saying, I mean, I know I'm taking up a lot of time, babe. I want you to talk.
No. I'm just thinking about, okay, we know that there is a system problem. It's internal. How do we change it? How do we as citizens, because again, we have a say in this. So is it the responsibility of the citizens to really make a stink inside city councils, inside these organizations? I'm not talking about protesting and burning down buildings. I'm talking more like, how do we get inside and infiltrate and demand change for a system that is broken and a system that constantly then feeds that type of behavior? It constantly feeds it.
They need to look up Officer Tommy Norman. Look up Officer Tommy Norman if you want to know how to do it right. That dude gets involved.
And see, that brings up another point too on what is going on when it comes to now the systems. Yes, you hear a lot in the political circles about it's training. Training needs to be done. You got to start in the beginning when you're recruiting people. You got to look at who are you recruiting. But what's scary right now is because recruitment is low, there's many police departments that are now lowering their standards. In Louisiana alone, they just announced then for Baton Rouge and for a few other cities in the state that they are no longer requiring their officers to have any type of college credits.
Like, look at this.
Because they just need bodies. I'm not comfortable with you just giving a gun to somebody just so this way you can satisfy a recruitment quota.
See, and the thing is, you have to be involved with the community. See, a lot of these cops, they wind up getting into communities that are foreign to them.
Right.
And automatically their life is going to matter more. Now, we're not even touching on, white privilege and the systematic racism in the country that perpetuates all of this, that feeds into it. We're not even going to talk about, the incarceration rates and how that's odd. Like, we can go into another topic, but check this out. Right now, on The Guardian, 800 people have been killed in 2016 by cops. 800. Last year it was 1,146.
Right. And the CDC would have considered that an epidemic right now if it was a disease.
Exactly. But guess how many cops were convicted of either manslaughter or murder in 2015?
2.
0.
Oh my
Guess
God.
how many in 2014? 0. In fact, since 2005, there have only been 13 officers convicted of murder or manslaughter in fatal on-duty shootings, according to data provided by the Huffington Post by Philip Stinson. 13 since 2015. How many people have killed people and have been thrown in jail since then? Regular citizens.
Uncounted. I can't even count.
Man, let's not even get into the fact that outrage over Walmart for refusing to make a Blue Lives Matter cake recently. Look this up. Blue Lives Matter cake, and people are in arms about it. I don't know how to tell you this, but Blue Lives Matter is a take on Black Lives Matter. And All Lives Matter is also a take on Black. See, Black Lives Matter came first. Blue is not a race. All is inclusive, but if you're going to say all, you're going to include black. So say Black Lives Matter and just leave it at that.
And just leave it. But we definitely need change.
We need change.
Get involved, citizens. Get involved. You'll be seeing us a lot in many different City of Phoenix
all the time.
Meetings. So we're going to take what we're dishing out about that, getting involved.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Anyway,
let us know your thoughts.
Talk to us. All right, cool. Once again, we got a good one in.
That was good. And again, we emphasize this at the end of every show. Give us your feedback, guys. Please, please, please let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you have any suggestions, ideas, topics.
All of that. Yeah, and make sure you contact us and let us know if you want to also be a guest on the Zod and Drea podcast, because it's very easy. We're very welcoming, and we can even receive phone calls. So make sure you check us out on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere.
And you can subscribe to our podcast on
YouTube,
on iTunes,
on our website, on Stitcher, on Google Play. Man, we're everywhere and we're growing and we want you to grow with us. So make sure you get involved in our conversations. Keep talking with us.
Until next time.
That's it. Take us out.
Bye,
baby.
guys.